I'm stopping this share. I think Nitin, I mean, this is an, I would say, non-negotiable thing, right? I mean, you cannot start a business model saying that my vehicle or my engine works only when there is some kind of a fuel or a petrol from outside. I mean, since I come from an auto sector, I kind of compared it that way, right? I mean, in an automobile that makes sense, but for a sustainable business model, basically you expect the vehicle to produce its own fuel and to run. Unless that happens, rest of the things, otherwise you might either be solving too big problem with a too high funda tech that nothing exists so far in the world, then that's okay. Otherwise, any business model by the very logical and layman's terms must be self-sustaining. It is okay. One might not have a visibility, say for example, for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, the business might not be giving the revenue to recover the expenses, right? But one needs to have the clear visibility that how long will I be able to run this way, by when this particular engine starts feeding itself, because this sustainability in business model is very, very important. Because see, it is this sustainability is what I would say encourage investors also. Because when your input to the engine is say X quotient, and then you are able to bring Y coefficient as X plus delta X as your right output, then obviously the investors would like to multiply that X with 1000X, and then your output would be 1000 delta X, right? So it's a non-negotiable thing. If somebody gets into the trap that no, I'm starting a startup and this startup from day one involves $1 million, $10 million kind of a funding and only then it runs, something is fundamentally wrong. The business model must be built in such a way that it is sustainable from day one, only to grow, only to scale, only to accelerate, right? The speed. Use money and funding as a fuel. It's more like a nitro booster, right? But funding cannot replace your existential purpose or your survival purpose. Funding cannot push your serving. It can only accelerate your growth. Thank you, Nitin. Yeah, simple guys. Why would somebody start up? Somebody starts up because number one, they want to make an impact to the society. They want to solve some problem, and they want to be independent, making independent decisions, not necessarily, and they want to be, most importantly, especially startups in the late 30s and early 40s, they want to be boss of themselves, right? Now, what happens if you are in the pursuit of funding, right? You start giving away your ownership and your decision making abilities and your control slowly, and finally you end up becoming as an employee. That's what we also saw to a certain extent in the stories of Flipkart also, right? Not so dramatically as I said, but then end of the day, it's the investors who took over the complete running of the business, and the two gentlemen who started with a great vision had to exit, right? So don't be too much, I would say, glamorized and too much persuaded by your affinity or your I would say the excitement to raise funds. Stick to your problem, start solving the problem, bring a lot of innovation, a lot of value to the table. Let me tell you, all the rest of the things will follow running and chasing after you. So to all the, I would say, young founders and CEOs and wannabe entrepreneurs here, first of all, congratulations, because you chose one of the least traveled path, right? Of not choosing a comfort of 9 to 5 job and a monthly paycheck that gets deposited into your money. You chose as paths in something different, and let nothing deter you from pursuing that path. Neither funding or nor non-funding, right? You continue to focus on your own purpose of what problem you are intended to solve and how you are solving it. Let nothing deter. Anyways, we have the whole ecosystem and mentors like here, right, to kind of support you when you are falling, right, to kind of lift you up when you are disappointed, to kind of give you that push and then say, hey, you know what, you can keep going, right? So the whole ecosystem is there. In fact, the very act of T-Hub organizing this particular thing is kind of, right, is demonstrating one such aspect is that, hey, you know what, you're not alone in the whole ecosystem. We are a team of people trying to do something, trying to build the GDP of the country, right? Not leaving it into the hands of few industries, but then everybody making their impact to, to increase the GNP, right? So be bold, be brave. We are all here in this together, and don't be disappointed, don't be discouraged, and don't be persuaded by the fancy PRs, etc. Stick to your problem, stick to your solution, keep going, and you will succeed.